Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics, the podcast to distract your mind. Real people and their stories, raw and uncut.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics. I hope you're doing well, I hope you're loving yourself, and of course I hope you're having a good day. Now today we have a rising rugby player, an inspiring female athlete, and just an all-round good person, Ava-Lee Jericevich. How's it going?
It's going good, thank you.
Good. Now I'd love to start off with just asking, straight up honest, how's life in general?
Life's been pretty good, taking every chance by opportunity, taking everything, just taking day by time.
Yeah, cool. Now let's get straight into it. So last year was a big year for you. You want to run us through what happened last year? A lot went on last year for you.
So with COVID and everything, being able to get back into sport full time was really good. So playing Harbour Rugby FPC for my second season, having Westlake Girls as my final year of sport, winning our North Harbour tournament, and then being able to play Battle of the Bridge against Auckland Girls Grammar, which was really cool, and then Condor Sevens at the end of the year, and then making the selection for the Under-18 Warriors Sevens team for World School Sevens, which was really cool.
Yeah, so that Warriors Under-18s team, well, how much work did you put into that?
So that was, it was a little bit last minute, but being able to be seen by Toots, the Mags coach, and the Warriors staff at Condors was really cool, so them selecting me for that. And then going to the trainings beforehand and then getting the selection call up from them was cool by the Warriors Foundation.
Yeah, cool. Is that, you said it was last minute, but has it almost been that kind of environment and being noticed by those people? Has that been like a goal for a long time?
It has been a bit of a goal, yeah, being able to play in a league environment for my uncle that passed away last year, which was really cool. So being able to kind of represent him in that way, to do that was cool.
Yeah. How did you get through that passing, because obviously you guys were quite close, so
Yeah.
how did you push through that?
So with that, I had been concussed the week before, so yeah, pushing through that, just being with family, and remembering all the good times and stuff, not reminiscing on what had happened, just remembering the good memories and all of that.
Yeah, and being able to perform for him, looking down, you probably would have topped it off,
Yeah, it
made
was
you extra
good.
proud. Yeah, I love that. Now, last year was your last year at high school, how did
Yeah.
it feel finishing it off on a high?
It was pretty good, being able to finish my sports off on a high, being able to play at Condors, my last Condors at King's College in December was pretty cool, being able to finish that with my mates that we had started in Year 9, the rugby team. But it's also a bit sad, we're not being able to go back to high school sport, but yeah, just reminiscing on everything really.
Yeah, love that. What kind of work do you do off the field, because you guys, well, especially yourself, you get under the pump hard with training.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you have some spare time? Do you keep yourself busy? Do you relax? What do you do?
When I'm relaxing, trying to just go through TikTok,
just
having a look on there. But I like spending time with my brother, just going watching his sport and stuff like that. And then, just spending time with family, getting outside, having a walk along the beach, going to see my grandparents and stuff.
Yeah. How do you keep your brain upstairs in good shape? What do you do?
So off the field, we do a thing called mindfulness. So setting goals, just writing down how we're feeling after trainings and stuff like that. Just anything that's on our mind, we just write it down and then talk about it as a group.
Yeah. As your kind of team environment with the different teams you jump between, is there a good connection there? Do you feel that you girls can be real open for each other, or is it more when it's kind of, all right, girls, sit down, and it's kind of forced on you, write it down, or what's the vibe there?
Well, in the mornings when we go to the academy and stuff, if there's anything really on our minds, we just talk about it. Really open girls, good group of girls and stuff like that. We all have the same hobbies and everything, all same goals. So really open to be able to speak about anything that's on our minds.
Cool.
It's not really forced or anything.
Yeah. Let's start from the beginning. Your Ava's story. Let's start off wherever you want. From the early days, from recently, wherever you want to start from.
So early days, little Ava used to do cheerleading. She actually never played rugby, never picked up a rugby ball till year 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Played touch for in Ripper for school for Marina View. And then fast forward to year 9, that's when I got into rugby at Westlake Girls. So really grateful to be in that environment and being part of the first Westlake Girls rugby team. And then just fell in love with the sport from there really.
Yeah.
And then was fortunate enough in year 10 to get the Player of the Year for Westlake Girls for 12s. And just moved forward from that, made the FPC wider squad in year 11. Made my debut when I was 17 against Tasman Marco at North Harbour Stadium, which was pretty cool. And then, just really, really grateful. Just kept playing after that and then just take every opportunity as I could.
Yeah. What are some tips that you use for yourself when, because obviously being on that sort of stage at the age you are, pressure will get to you, either when it's from other people or giving yourself pressure. So how do you battle that?
Yeah, I do get a bit heated under pressure,
Yeah.
I've had it a few times, but just going back to what my why is when I play. So my family is my why, my mum, my brother, making sure that he has someone to look up to when he's older and at his age now, just being able to set a foundation for him that he can work onto and stuff like that. And then really just breaking like the stigma around like female rugby players, just being able to be who you are on the field and show how you are, really.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good point, actually. How have you found in the recent years, especially as you're progressing, the world of sport, because it's so male dominant, and female sports becoming more of a rise, more popular. A lot more younger girls are getting into it. It's just changing for the good. So how yourself, or in a wider view, how have you seen it change?
Oh, it's been crazy, not just since like the World Cup last year, but throughout the years of me being in high school all the way through, just seeing the multiple schools being able to get girls rugby teams and like junior rugby teams being able to have all-girl rugby like tackle teams as well has been really, really cool. And being a part of the Harbour Activator group, being able to go into the schools and sing like girls-only rugby days and stuff like that is so cool to be able to be seen.
Yeah. When you were in school, did you have those kind of role models coming in?
So when I was in intermediate at Marina View in year 8, we did a day at the Government House.
Oh, yeah.
And we went down there and we did a rugby day, and Teresa Fitzpatrick and Charmaine McMenamin were there, and that's what really sparked my love for rugby.
Man.
And I was lucky enough a few years later at year 11 to be able to train with them at Ponsonby Rugby, which was pretty cool. And they still remembered me, but yeah. So having something like that was the first time that I've ever had like an all-girls type of thing. But to have it so regularly now is really, really cool.
Yeah. And you said to me before we started you're going into the schools now.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you?
It's pretty scary because you get some year 8s and they're towering over me. And I'm like, oh, gosh. No, but it's cool. I went into Swanson Primary and all the kids are lovely. Just being able to see the smiles on their face and do something, give back to the community.
Yeah. Now, throughout your life, what are some times that have got you down, or some times that have really tested you as yourself?
Throughout my rugby career and playing and stuff, I've had teammates and things that have happened to me, like not jealousy, but also it's just fighting for that field position play.
Yeah.
Having to compete with your own team to get that number 14 or 11 jersey is hard, and you do get disheartened when you don't make it and when you have teammates trying to bring you down, but you just have to believe in yourself and go back to your why, and then just ground yourself and wanting to reach that final goal, really.
Yeah. Have you had to battle against many older girls?
Yep.
Yeah.
So being so young in a position where I'm making teams and then having elders who've been playing for longer, it's hard, but you just have to have faith in the coaching and management team that they look past age and then look at skills and how you are on the field and what benefits the team, really.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing in sport, especially when you're trying out for teams and you see, might be older players or you see older players in general, and you feel like, they call it imposter syndrome, like you feel like you shouldn't be there, and so you don't back yourself and you give yourself pressure and you just don't feel like you're good enough.
It is, it definitely does happen when you're younger in an environment where it's dominated by older people, but then you have, if you weren't meant to be in the environment, then you wouldn't be there. Exactly.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
I think it was Jack Goodhue. I had him on a couple of years ago when he did his ACL, and it was his first training back, and he said he had the same thing. He went back and he felt like he didn't mean to be there, but he said the exact same thing. If you weren't there in the first place, if you're there and you weren't good enough, you wouldn't have been there in the first place. There's got to be someone there who believes in you, so why not back yourself?
Yeah, it definitely, if someone doesn't want you there, then
you won't be there.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, who's someone that inspires you in your life?
My mum. So my mum's always been my rock to me, really. So having her since I was little, and then being able to have my amazing stepdad Ramon and my dad, that I call him my dad now, and then being able to have my brother Thomas. They've been my real inspirations for me all the way through.
Love that. Memorable moment of your career so far? I mean, it's early days into your career, but you've done a lot so far.
So in our game, we went down to or was it New Plymouth or Palmerston North? We were playing Tasman Marco last year.
Yeah.
I had knocked the ball on. I dropped the ball before the try line, or not before the try line at the 22, but then I got an intercept try, which was pretty cool.
Was that the same game that Mr. Bronson there filmed that ankle break?
Nah, it was the game I got concussed in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How much of a setback is it? Something like a concussion?
So that concussion put me out for the rest of the season, so I didn't get to go back for the game. Because I recovered before the semi-final, but with the coaching staff, they wanted to keep the same team that won the quarters, which I was a bit upset about as a player, not being able to get that chance to show myself again on the field. But I just kept working hard, kept training, and then I was able to make the Warriors team at the end of the year, so made up for it, really.
Yeah, I love that. Now, I want to ask you that's another good point there is, when you don't get that opportunity or you feel like it's unfair, the position that you've been given or the circumstances, what makes you, we kind of spoke about it before, but what makes you in that moment rather than going, okay, I'm done, I'm done, whatever, okay, cool, you've made that decision, I'm not trying again. What's the fuel that keeps your fire going that makes you want to keep going to prove them wrong?
Yeah. So my fuel is proving them wrong.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm a type of person, like, if I don't make anything, I'll dwell on it for a bit, like an hour or so, get upset. But then you have to use that as fire to get back on the field. So have to train that much harder to make that spot on the team, make the field, get that jersey. And then also turning to your friends and teammates as well to see if you can get feedback as well, or from the management and coaching staff, like questioning what I need to do to be a better player, and just always seeking feedback, really.
Yeah, love that. What's a lesson or a piece of advice that you've been given throughout your life that's it's helped you get through those tough times we spoke about?
Just really not dwelling on the past, always taking that one step forward to be in where you want to be in the future.
Yeah, I love that. Were you someone who, in your early years as a player that was growing through the stages, dwelled on, mistakes you make? 'Cause you said, when you get decisions like that you're not happy about, you dwell on it for an hour and okay, we need to get back into it, we need to get back to where we want to go.
Yeah.
Were you someone who was always like that, or have you had to grow into that kind of person?
I've had to grow into the person. So I was a person that used to get really upset and used to sit down, just be emotional about it. And I was emotional to a lot of people. Like, I would be openly tell them how I'm feeling.
Yep.
Not good to keep it dwelled up, really.
Yeah.
But just I had to move forward and stop thinking like, oh, that's it, I'm not going to make the team again. But being able to grow from that mindset and mature to be able to think, no, there is another day, there is another game, there's always another team I can make, and just keep striving to be a better person and player.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How important do you think it is to, look at your surroundings, either the friends you surround yourself with, by your habits? How important do you think that is to you? So
it's definitely good to have the same surrounding of people like yourself with people that have the same hobbies, same mindset as you. It makes you to be able to feed off them and gives them like almost the intentions that you have and you want to be gaining. So gaining that same energy from them, which is really good. You
almost give back to them what they give to you. They surround themselves with the wrong people and they don't realise it's the wrong people until they miss opportunities or they stop doing stuff they've loved and they kind of beat themselves up. They don't realise it's who they're surrounding themselves with. Yeah,
I've had to move myself out of friendship groups to better myself and to see where I want my career to go and to be the person that I am today. So it is hard, and it definitely is hard in high school, leaving those friend groups and going into new friend groups, but it definitely does help and benefits you in the future.
How would you go around about doing that, with your friends in high school and being a bit selfish in doing it because you wanted to progress?
Well, I went to a full primary school, so going into Westlake Girls, that was my first year going to a new high school, and I definitely had, not an identity crisis, but it was hard fitting into a North Shore school coming from a little primary school out west. And I did have few friend groups that I went through just to see who I was, and it did help me finding my new friends and having the friends that I do have today. But you just have to take that risk and hope they understand what they are doing, and if they don't, then it wasn't really a true friendship, I guess.
Exactly right. Moments like that, they can be real bad because you might lose your friends. But at the end of it, exactly like you said, it will help you find out who your true friends are. A piece of advice, for any young guy or girl, especially young female athletes that you wish you knew earlier on.
Ooh, piece of advice. Just really, age doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. You can do it whether you're 10, 11, join the sport when you're 20. Just really go for it. Take that jump. Doesn't matter. Just the environment we are now with women's sport and female athletes, you really can just pick it up at any age. And really go for it.
If it wasn't for rugby, do you think you'd still be doing cheerleading, or where do you think you would have gone?
Probably.
Cheerleading?
Yeah, it was so bad. I loved it at the time, but I could not do it anymore.
I asked you a most memorable moment. I want to ask if you could, maybe I'd say 3 moments, and you could put it into your own little highlight reel. Which would those 3 moments be?
It would be my Westlake Girls last game.
Yeah.
It was televised on Field 1 at Kings.
Yeah.
I didn't do a girl out the side. And then probably my Warriors tackle on Field 1 at Condors at Pakuranga Rugby Club. Yeah.
Mean.
Yep.
Wait, one more moment?
Oh, probably just that intercept try again. Yeah.
That was, 'cause I did, even though I know you, I did a little bit of research. And there was so many articles about that interception you made.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
The commentators for that game were really talking me up, the 18-year-old. I was like, my goodness, this is not... And I was trying to hide running back to the halfway. I was like, no.
Now, think of your life like a movie, all right?
Yeah.
It's a documentary of Ava's life. And to finish off the movie, you could give one piece of advice maybe to your little brother, to yourself, to look back on the future. Something that little girl at home who wants to become the next Black Fern. What's something you'd say? Each
upset or obstacle is just a lesson to learn from and something to strive from and make yourself a better person, really.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Now, we said at the start last year was a huge year for you. What goals or what are you striving for this year?
Just being able to make the FPC wider squad again and get back in that 14 jersey to reprove myself from my last game that I played last year against Tasman. Just really wanting to strive and make that team again.
Yeah, cool. One last question. Is there anything, we spoke about not dwelling on the past, but is there anything from last year that taught you about your craft or yourself as a person that you really want to focus on this year so either doesn't happen again or so you can improve on?
Just keeping myself safe in an environment like in tackles and stuff, really pushing forward, practicing my little skills and making sure my technique's good.
Yeah,
just
cool.
Avoid concussions and stuff.
The basics again,
yeah,
eh?
Go back to the basics.
Yeah, mean. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to come here. It was really, really good to have a chat with you and, really excited to see what life has for you for 2023.
Thank you for having me. It's been really good.
Thank you. As always, guys, do what makes you happy, do what you know is right, and do what you need to do for you. I'll see you next week, and remember to love yourself. See you later.